So next topic, what we will be discussing is interfacing proximity sensor. Okay. So usually you might have seen like uh, uh, the automatic water tank filling sensors and also. I mean nowadays like we usually do not switch off or switch on manually through switches, right? But automatically it detects what is the level of water and we control the motor operation. That is basically using proximity sensor. Okay. So proximity sensor also we have something like capacitive or inductive sensor. So it is actually it will give high or low. I mean, as soon as certain threshold is reached, like in the sensor space, right, it will have some electromagnetic coil. So as soon as certain level is reached, it is going to give high or low. Okay. So usually, again, especially when you want to control the motors and all, it will be very high voltage. There is always possibility that you can spoil the microcontroller if that value exceeds certain level. Correct. So for that, usually we go for something called optocoupling. So data from sensor will be passed to optocouplers. Whenever there is a data, okay. So I mean the proximity is reached. So this LED is glowing internally. So this will be inside the IC. So here we will have photo detector, and this will be fed to the microcontroller. If you see, this is actually driven by 3.3. 3.3. If you see here, this particular example, what will happen? So this is purely communicating through light. Even there is a high voltage. What will happen? This LED may spoil, but it is not affecting our digital circuitry. So this circuitry may be operating at 3.3 volts or 1.8 volts, but this circuitry will be operating at your AC voltages, right? AC voltage, high voltage. By mistake, if it is like coupled to the 3.3 volt, the entire digital circuit will be burned. So that's where like it won't damage now because of this interface. So usually the proximity sensor, as I was mentioning, so it will be like coming up with the three leads, okay, three leads, and this lead can be supplied from plus 5 volts to up to 30 volts you can supply. So this will be supplied to your proximity sensor. So in the proximity sensor, there will be head, so which will be identifying the distance, proximity of the value. So this here plus 5 volt, and it is like this model is plus and this pin is negative, and here it will give one digital output, whether it is it's very near to that object or not. That is just it see one disadvantage with the proximity sensor is like it cannot identify exact value of the distance. So if you want to find the exact distance, you have to go for ultrasound sensor, uh, right? So, but here it will be just mentioned that like whether water is filled or not, right? So in CNC machine, some if you want to identify the exact proximity of the machinery, in industrial automation applications and all, these proximity sensors are extensively used. Okay. So maybe for your reference, I can present the image of that also, how that proximity sensor looks. So you can see this kind of sensor, proximity sensor. So here you can see 3 pins. So out of that, one is like your output, one will be positive, one will be negative.